This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
Carl.
And Carl, do you want to give the viewers a quick little intro about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Carl. I'm an indie game reviewer, and I have my own podcast called The Indie Intermission. I also cover a lot of early access titles, but more on how they show themselves, their presentation basically, and I look at how risky or if the games are still being developed. Recently I have looked at Interstellar Marines, which is the oldest game in early access since the inception of early access. So it's basically 6 years officially in development, but 10 years in development overall. And if you go even back further, it's probably 15 years in development.
Cool, and we're happy to have you on, Carl.
Yep.
Will, what are we going to be, what's today?
Today is Manic Mondays.
Dude, you always do it wrong.
Do you want me to say it the right
I want
way?
you to do it right.
Manic Mondays.
What are we covering on Manic Mondays, Will?
Today we're talking about Singstar and its shutting down, and then a broader topic of basically games as a service and their eventual and inevitable death.
That is correct. So they're going to be shutting down the Singstar servers on the 31st of January next year. And that's a big deal because Singstar has been around a very long time. I remember the first time I ever played the Singstar games was on the PS2 sometime in the early 2000s. And I didn't play a lot of it, but I had friends that had the games because that was the only reason they got a PS2. They liked the karaoke aspect of Singstar. And it was always cool to see how far off your voice was from the notes. But I'm getting a little off topic because the more important thing is if they shut down the servers, there's a lot of content that goes away forever. And that's a big deal because if you don't get it ahead of time, I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to be buying songs now when they didn't want to because they're going to buy them slowly over time, or maybe not at all, I don't know. But now the hype is this game's going away, so I got to buy the stuff now while it's still there. And if you don't, it's gone. The servers are done. You just have whatever's offline already. And I think that's the real danger with a game, with online services being the main focus. And, Will, what was your take on this?
Yeah, I have the same take. So, this is a good, representation of what's happening with basically all games now, how most of the game is online. And a lot of games don't even have, anything that you can download. So it's just online gameplay. So if that community dies, the game that you bought for $60, probably more now, especially if it's an EA game, it's probably like $80 or $90. It's gone forever. So you've lost that game.
Yep. So a little bit of context. I used to play this game with my mom because that was the only game she would play. So I have a slight attachment to the game. I haven't played it for years because I don't have consoles anymore. And I think Singstar at some point just stopped doing anything. They stopped innovating. They did release a lot of new songs, but they didn't do career mode or a talent acquisition show or even a competitive mode, whatever. They didn't do anything anymore. It was just hobbling along. And I think today there are not free versions of that as well, especially on a smartphone and so on, that it doesn't have an audience anymore. So basically what they're doing is this service, PlayStation, this server costs us money, so we're just gonna shut it down. Problem is, people still paid for it. So basically they're saying, you paid us money, now we're gonna take that money and burn it up in front of you. We don't care. And they are in the legal, and the weirdest thing is, it's the legal right because as many people know, you sign a contract basically when you buy a game to rent your game forever and not buy it. You don't buy games anymore. It's not like you get a CD and that CD has to work. And there's this attitude at least in the AAA industry, that you make a game, it has to come out a certain day because there's a lot of marketing behind it. I think most of the times half of the money that goes into a game is marketing. So for example, if a Call of Duty costs 300 million to make, you can be assured that 150 million is only for marketing. So it has to come out the day that it's on the package. And then they say, if it's broken, well, then we'll fix it later because people are gonna be dumb enough to buy it anyways. So yeah,
the AAA games are going the way of indies. Release it first, fix it later.
Yep.
The thing is, the difference is indies are like one person, like one or
Right.
two persons, and like, okay, I understand the resources are limited. The AAA games are like 100 people, 100 teams, 100 people teams, and like, this is like, this is just,
Yeah, it's
it's like
ludicrous.
it's like me building a car and saying, yeah, we're gonna later on bring a mechanic to fix your car, it's fine. But we're
Oh
gonna-
yeah, it'll get you from point A to point B. It just might break down 4 times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you have to pay for that repair.
Exactly. I have to pay for the repair. And a year later say, you want to color your car? You want color on your car? Well, you have
Yeah.
to buy that extra as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you can't even do that because the service is shut down. Oh, we don't
Yeah.
sell colors anymore. You're stuck with whatever color we gave you.
Yep.
You can't even
And
buy
Ross-
a TomTom now. Where you're
Yeah.
just stuck with the car in its current state forever.
Yeah. And so basically, Ross, this guy, Ross Gaming Dungeon, he made the statement that basically all these games as service games are fraud because what you're selling is a product, not a
Mhm.
service. SingStar is still a product. It can work without the server.
Yes.
You know, and you bought things, you bought products, you didn't buy the service. And when you were going into this business, you didn't know that you were buying a service. Nobody told you outright, oh, someday we're gonna shut it down. It's written in some small little line somewhere in the agreements, and like this does not hold up in front of court. But the problem is nobody's gonna sue because try to sue Sony. It's like a multi-million-dollar company. Good luck, boy. Good luck. Good luck with that. An appointment at an attorney costs like $3,000, something like that. It's like good luck trying to sue Sony. So yeah,
Yep.
it's like it's sad. It's actually against the law, but as long as nobody has enough money and can go against it, it's going to continue happening again and again.
Mhm.
Need for Speed Worlds. I remember a game called Need for Speed Worlds. It was basically a Need for Speed MMO. It got shut down, just outright. But even though you could play it offline as well, so.
Did you guys see the
Yeah.
article where they talked about? So, I know this is like a little bit off topic, but it's not really off topic. EA, I believe, right? Need for Speed's owned by EA, right?
Yep.
They released Need for Speed Heat with no microtransactions. And look at this.
What?
Look at this article, though. Need for Speed Heat has no microtransactions, and that might be a bad thing.
That's clickbait. No, that's
Yeah.
clickbait.
No. I read it earlier, okay? I promise. I read this, all right? So basically what they stated was EA doesn't have any kind of confidence in this Need for Speed game, and that's why there's no microtransaction in it. But really, how successful has EA been trying to put all these microtransactions in games? If anything, this game might sell better without microtransactions. Even
Yeah.
pay for like the base game will probably sell better without microtransactions.
Okay, so
You might not make more money, but it'll sell
yeah.
better.
So I always try to explain like this. So investors, they take a look at the company, and if the company is making money, that's fine. And they will always they will ask after a quarter, a year, they will ask, did you make more money than the last quarter? And then you make more money, right?
Mhm.
And then the next quarter, they're gonna ask, did you make more money than the last quarter?
Mhm.
And they're gonna repeat that again and again and again. When you reach the physical boundary of making money, there is no more money to make. It's impossible to make money. The investors are still gonna ask, can you make more money?
Right.
And let's say you break the physical boundaries of making money. You break physics and make more money in the last quarter. Investors are going to come to you and ask, can you make more money than the last quarter?
Right.
And that's,
No, that's
will go
true.
on. And that's the thing. This article is not entirely false. It's of course clickbait, but it's basically, if you do not trust in a product, yeah, you're not gonna do it as a money maker. It's just gonna repay the thing. I think one of the big problems with EA and this big conglomerate of industry is that they have too much frivolous spending. Basically, they just have a lot of management stuff and not a lot of development stuff, and most of their money goes into marketing, which is really just idiotic.
I tend to agree with that.
indie games do market themselves successfully by actually building community, and I think this AAA industry could try to do that instead of hiring a marketing company that does gigantic marketing with TV specials and Super Bowl special and all the, like, this is money thrown out of the window. You're gonna reach
it really is.
Maybe 1% you're gonna reach people. The rest is just more money thrown out of the window. But it has been proven in the past again and again and again, and people on the high level, they are old, they don't care, they are making millions of dollars, and they're not going to change anything. And it's like, maybe in 10, 20 years, when the old guard goes away and the new guard comes in, they might see it differently. But yeah.
So I think this is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum, right? You've got SingStar, which has content for people to purchase, and it's shutting down. And on this end of the spectrum, you've got a company that's failing to do well with microtransactions on several of their recent games, where they did well right out the gate, don't get me wrong. Like, what was it? Apex Legends did insanely well right in its first month. But then you come forward and you've got this well-built franchise, Need for Speed, and you're releasing it without microtransactions and without any hope of ever having servers shut down because you don't have the content on the servers to shut down. And people are saying this is a bad thing because it's not a mainstream game, but what if the game doesn't support the microtransactions in the first place? Like, you can't just add a bajillion color schemes to a Mario Brothers game from the SNES era and expect people, well, you could, but I don't know anybody that's going to buy that.
If you're EA or Activision, yes, you can.
That's why they don't own Mario. But no, I'm just saying, like, this is like two opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got this company, this EA is massive, Sony's massive. One of them's shutting down servers, one of them's not even putting them up. I have a split mind on that, right? As a businessman, as a proper capitalist, I'm saying, yeah, go for it. It's like a way to make money. Sure. Microtransactions are fine. As a consumer, I'm like, why are you even buying this? But at the same time, those companies, they hire psychologists to figure out how to get people to spend. It's not people like us that say we oppose microtransactions, we're not going to buy it. They are looking at people that are already, they have a problem. And like gambling.
They spend. The gambling people, they're looking at that. That's their market. They make a lot of money with the people
whales.
The whales, basically. And that's the most disturbing thing about it. I'm not against microtransactions in itself, but these games, they create problems and say, do you want to solve the problem we created with your money? We have created this problem that you are experiencing right now. Do you want the solution that we created for your problem that you can pay with money? And that's like, everyone that defends microtransactions or say, oh, microtransactions are not that bad. No. You misunderstand. They're not bad in itself, but they are made bad because the intention is to suck out money from people that have a psychological problem. And that's the bad thing about it.
So imagine all these whales on SingStar right now. They're shutting down the servers. They're probably buying up every last bit of content on that server before it gets shut down. And if you look on the actual article I had earlier, it said that the PS4 users can re-download the content, but the PS3 users have no chance. They have to download it now, and they'll never get another chance at it again. So hopefully, most of the people that are scooping up anything left are PS4 owners, because otherwise you're left without a paddle. You're not getting that content back.
Yep.
So, is there anything you wanted to add to this conversation, Carl, at this point in time?
I mean, it's the same discussion over and over again. One of the things I want to add as the last thing, Ross Gaming Dungeon actually mentioned this. If a cause has to, if you have to convince people to vote with their wallet, the cause is already lost, because if you have to convince them, then they are doing the wrong thing already. We shouldn't be talking about, oh, don't spend money on that. It should be obvious to everyone. Don't spend money on those things. Don't do it. It's like, just don't do it.
And there's a ton of SingStar games that are already out that are playable on older consoles
Exactly.
There's no reason to spend money on this new game just because the servers are shutting down. But it is a preliminary look at what's going to happen with all these games as a service as they shut down over time. You're just going to lose out on anything that might have been there, and it's just bad for the consumer overall.
At this point, don't buy any online games.
Yes.
Like there are enough free-to-play games that you can play online. You will find one that you like. Like at least this point, don't buy online games. It's a waste of time.
If you're gonna play an online game, like play one that's free, like Fortnite.
Yep.
You know, don't buy into something that's going to die in 3 weeks.
Yeah, basically.
So, anyways, as always, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Carl.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.